likes to be. But either way, we're preparing for game number 2, and CE, they take us to the classic. It is Towers of Doom.
Doesn't it feel good sometimes, Tetcher, to tell, we actually learned a little bit after, casting China for so many years now? Doesn't that feel great to sometimes read the teams well? I don't know about you.
It feels pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's like, we've been doing it for a while. If we hadn't learned anything, I would be concerned. I will say that.
We can basically prove that we're not charlatans, We're not pretending. We've actually been doing this for a while now.
This is true. But now then, let us prepare and get this underway. Genji banned. Maiev will be banned by TheOne. No, Dahaka banned by TheOne. Oh yeah, because they're first pick. So yeah, CE should ban the Maiev here. No concerns there.
All right, and I was just informed that some beautiful person indeed did post that clip on Reddit, so I will stay true to my word and upload it right here live on stream.
As will
Boom.
I.
Did it. Well played, Waka Jawaka, who was the person who put it in there.
Cool name.
That is a really cool name. Waka Jawaka. I wonder where that name came from. Maybe if you're watching, feel free to tag us or tweet at us, and we're going to share the story of your past. If it's actually good enough to do it.
Also safe for work. For now, though,
if it's safe for work, exactly.
The Illidan banned out resulted in the instant Maiev pickup, as if we did not know that was going to happen.
All right, yep. That is now...
The Illidan ban. The Illidan ban was weird, but the Maiev ban pickup after it was super obvious.
Yep, and usually it's Meng on the side of the one who plays a deadly Maiev. I mean, a player of Meng's caliber is... very likely to not miss many combos and many resets, so already looking a little scary here, and the immediate Blaze pick also coming in by CE here. They realize they need every ounce of protection that they can find, and Bunker is probably one of the better tools to use against the Maiev. But also, can we just say how much work Huhu on that Anub'arak was doing last game? And not just last game, but Anub'arak as a whole, Tetcher, I think, is looking like one of the most impactful warriors that we have right now in China.
Definitely so. His dive potential has been really solid. He's been able to make play after play. So it makes a lot of sense that Hoho has been playing good on this and is willing to pick it up over and over again at this stage. We're going to see the Garrosh, though. Someone who can punish an Anub'arak if he does overextend.
All right. Yep, that is correct. Sergeant Hammer can pretty much pound on that Beetle if left unattended, as you said. Especially in the late game, her auto attacks are going to hit like a truck, or like a tank, we should probably say. Quite literally here. Now, Garrosh is back, and Juyi is going to play it. He's got some big shoes to fill, because wins Garrosh back in the days used to be legendary.
That he did. And there's the Cassia once again coming in for Meng. And Hugo going back to another classic, the Malthael coming in here.
Yep, keeping it interesting here, Hugo is. Adding even more aggression to that lineup, and this could very well snowball out of control against CE if they give them the experience early on, if they give the kills over. And this time, Tetcher, they learn. They realize, you know what? Yeah. Those cocoons were pretty annoying, so we better pick some Li Ming right now.
I mean, the Jaina was very effective. It just absolutely won a couple fights, but I still feel the Li Ming would have been better. So that's what we are getting this time. The Li Ming coming out. XTQ looks like the one to be playing this. I'm excited to see how he does.
Yep, and I think all the teams that don't really have a dedicated Li Ming player up to this point, they better practice that hero, because we see more and more Anub'arak coming in, and a well-played Li Ming with Disintegrate can always be that tiny little weight that tips the balance in your favor. So let's see what they can do this time around. But as we said, we're not used to seeing CE play a lot of Li Ming with that new role swaps, with those new role swaps coming in there. Who's going to play it? Luful? It's going to be XTQ? We don't know.
XTQ was the one hovering it, but the question is, do they change when we weren't looking? Which has happened repeatedly before, so we will have to find out as we are preparing to head into game number 2. Once again, this is going to be the Towers of Doom, a CE map choice. Do they have what it takes to bring this home, or will TheOne be able to take the 2-0 and close in on BTG and SPT? Let's find out on the Towers of Doom.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. In the blue trunks on the left-hand side, we see TheOne with Hugo, Keshi, Meng, ZJZ, and Huhua.
And on the right, it is CE with a Luful, XTQ, 365, KTY, and Juyu. And it is, in fact, XTQ on the Li Ming.
That is interesting to see. XCQ, you know, being put on a different mate right now. The Jaina, as you said, last game, it looked pretty solid, actually. It looked really, really nice for the most part. But in that last team fight, I don't think there's anything we can blame on him here. Now, that is an interesting Maiev build adaptation here. Level 1, Pursuit of Vengeance. Each hero tethered by the Umbral Bind reduces the cooldown of Spirit of Vengeance by 2.5 seconds. So that is usually a build we see when Maiev is not really confident in her own survivability, when she's afraid of all that burst damage coming through, and could also be really useful when it comes to denying Li Ming a reset or two.
Very true. Makes you very mobile, very hard to hit, very irritating as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what that does. It does also give some actual reasonable AoE damage, so not too bad there either. Well then, let's see how this does work out for it. We have new habits coming in from the Blaze, so that's going to make him harder to hit. But Deckard, that is the Scroll of Identify.
That is a Scroll of Identify indeed, and what that does is, of course, the Scroll of... the Scroll basically needs to hit enemy heroes, and when it does, it applies a stack. And upon reaching, I believe it was 20 stacks, or was it 30? I don't recall on top of my head. 20. Then it'll reduce the armor of all the heroes trapped inside, and also it will increase the reveal duration, which is quite, you know, useful sometimes, not only against stealth heroes, but also against heroes hiding in bushes, for example.
That is correct. He's got his Pearl and his Owl Feather, and he is ready to do some damage. As for now, we see CE clearing out the mercenaries, going to get some sappers of their own, which will meet up with the one sappers. So who is going to have the better wave clear here?
Yeah. Look at the potion cluster there, spread by 365. Alufo, greedy as he is, he chucks them all down in one go. But yeah, a lot of healing is needed because these mercenaries need to be kited here a little bit. Better timing overall by CE, because they're going to clear those without taking much damage, and they can now escort their own mercenary camps with Alufo in position on that Sergeant Hammer.
And so with that, KTY hovers around the area, but not going to move too far out of position. Looks like the sappers will just make it in, because, well, KTY will die if he does not leave here. He might have already overstepped too far. Boost holds it very patiently, in which case he will die.
Yep, Hugo grabs another one for the records, for the books. Strong kill, but also a very close one. KTY almost had that escape on lockdown, but it was not meant to be, and as such, Li Ming currently is on soaking duty, so they do not lose too much experience here. Looks like the bottom mercenaries were actually successful. One tower fell, which adds some additional experience on the bookmarks. Sorry, on the accounts of CE here.
But what else can they make from this? With XDQ pinging in a couple orbs, not doing too much because of Nubarak, even without the Nerubian armor, he still is able to just drop his own shield and keep himself sustained that way.
So how much poke do they have here? The one that is, looks like they're actually willingly ignoring the bottom altar, and they're trying to contest the top one of CE here. In both teams, you can really tell like how stressful the last game was. You know, they're slowing things down here a little bit, but speaking of it, speaking of the devil, KTY in trouble, gets tethered back almost. Gets taken out.
Holding it. Yeah, down he goes as we see the one trying to hold the position here, give themselves that double cap, but Zuyu is at least trying to zone them away. Hugo is attempting to channel it in. Interruption with the cube and the knockup. They focus onto Hugo, dropping a fair amount of damage, but XTQ with the jump back, and Zuyu has dived way too deep. Yeah. He will go down here.
Oh, that was a strong combo though in ZJZ, almost getting the miracle kill. XTQ it is. Look who's back, Blaze, but misses the combo just in time. Did the one capture this altar? A strong fight by both teams, but in the end, the one came out on top here because of that strong focus fire and that strong mouthfeel damage on both Garrosh and Blaze before.
So, we see the one once again rotating down to the mercenaries, going to start burning through those with CE responding in kind now that they are actually alive again. So, how is CE going to bring themselves back into this? They're not that far behind, less than a level.
Oh yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally doable, right? I mean, CE, they're not looking nearly shaken or defeated up to this point, but they need to make something happen sometime soon here if they really want to take the lead over. Mercenaries get unlocked again into the bottom lane, and the game has been, you know, pretty quiet, pretty patient here. It really looks to me like both teams are trying to slow things down after that insane finish in the previous one. So I wonder when we're going to see this explosive China action go down, the region is so well known for.
Hugo, once again, is winning this top lane. You already mentioned in the previous series how much you like the Malthael into Blaze matchup, and Malthael has been having a wonderful time in this matchup so far. Do you pulled in once again? Indomitable is ready, but not required, and the Scroll of Sealing does not land on anyone.
Yep, here goes another Avatar of Vengeance. Of course, thanks to the level 1 talent, we mentioned it already, the cooldown can be lowered quite drastically upon tethering enemy heroes here. XDQ scouting a little bit with those magic missiles. And to me right now, the Sergeant Hammer hasn't really been able to do what she wants to do for the most part, right? And that is sieging up structures, making plays happen by baiting stuff onto her with siege tactics here. Maybe now the time is right for Sergeant Hammer to do her thing. 365, drops a lot of potions there towards that shrine area.
Potions picked up by KTY as he didn't need them. XDQ eats a great combo with the Surge of Light as well. Huhu dives in looking for a second kill, gets tossed into tower range, but will be able to tank through this unless Blaze gets the good stun and Huhu will be dropped.
Huhu will be dropped, but here comes Malthael spreading the AoE damage with Maiev there as well. They blow Alufal to pieces, and it is now a 2-for-1 trade. CJZ actually gets it. Here comes the Disc of Containment. Not really following it up, though.
Yeah, but it does mean we have the double isolation comp, the classic one. Now, Lufal popped Fountain, so that's not going to be available for a while now, even with him dying. So pretty bad timing there, or pretty unlucky timing. Thought the healing would out-tick the Malthael damage, but he was just short.
Just a little bit too late. Feels bad, man. So, yeah, we see the last race this time, by the way. So no Tormented Souls. They really try to go for that double isolation style, that you mentioned already. And now that is a safe kill. The last rites for good measure, getting those stacks done here and getting the lower cooldown reduction kicking. That is such a cool playstyle, isn't it, Tetra? Double isolation and then focus on that target with last rites.
It's pretty cool. You get the easy stacks this way. It's a classic combo we have seen repeatedly, as now CE are on the receiving end of it, and they might have some trouble. 35 seconds till the next last rites, though, so they don't have to worry about that. E just dropped by CE as they they attempted the invade and did steal the camp, and they were even able to disengage.
Yeah, and look at the one's cooldown management as well. They didn't really pull the trigger. Neither the Cocoon nor the Containment Disc have been used. They realized, you know what? We got what we wanted, which was the Mercenary Camp, and we can make it out alive without using all of our precious cooldowns. So good play, strong play by the one, and on the flip side, we see a couple of heroic abilities still on long cooldown for CE, especially that BFG on Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, some last rites already back off cooldown here. Disintegrate's still up, so aka they have one counter to Cocoon, which does not work on the Containment Disc. So you can disable one isolation technique unless it's on you, in which case, ooh, this is going to be rough.
All right, both teams splitting the altars here. I don't think there was any reason for the one to actually invade this either, because they realized, you know what? We had such a good time up to this point. We are ahead in experience, so why don't we just soak for 13 and then, you know, really turn on the heat? Well, but you know, if they find a Blaze out in the open, KTY in trouble, gets a triple stun in here, but he can't escape death. Then why not take it? And you know what? They might even consider the boss here, honestly. Nope, they go for the Mercenaries instead. Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, Mercenaries is definitely going to be more long-term value. Like, obviously, the boss is permanent damage to the core, but the Mercenaries represent more damage in time. If they can get through those bell towers, it's more shots on the next altars. It's a riskier play, technically, due to the fact that the boss is the only chance is if your opponent raids it, whereas the Mercenaries, you can still lose your XP lead in that time. But overall, it is a generally more value move if you can pull it off effectively and get good bell tower damage.
Yep, it can really shackle the enemy team in one lane, you know? It can really trap them in there. You can also bait in a couple of kills here, potentially, if the enemy team goes in too deep, trying to recapture that bell tower that you just took. So yeah, makes perfect sense. And of course, you also play a little more safely. Now, unfortunately for the one, I was going to mention the altar timer here. There's not going to be any altars, but it still arrives too late. So CE will be able to actually equalize the talent score, if you will. So they would have actually preferred it, the one that is, to fight earlier around an altar. But where's it going to be? Only one altar in the bottom half of the map, so both teams really need to go for Mercenaries if available. That's exactly what CE does.
Yep, very quickly as well, making the most of that Hover Siege and Li Ming damage. They will take both of these. And this is a pretty decent lane for them. So they can just rotate into the lane and push the mercenary camp, even if their attempt to capture the altar is less than successful. Although, great move in by Meng to try and split up the two tanks from the backliners, who are once again very separated. They do interrupt the altar though, so CE still fighting over this.
Yep, and Keshi on that Cassia taking a lot of poke damage here, both from Li Ming and Sergeant Hammer and the Blaze, and it looks to me like the One is giving this up. They realized, you know what, our position is not strong enough. Never mind, they stall it out a little bit longer. Thunderstroke was completed a few moments ago, so one additional charge of long distance poke coming in for Cassia here. And now the One, they're not retreating, they're trying to make that trap spring.
This is given the one time to clean up those sapper camps though, which means that the pressure for CE has been removed. This means that now the One can actually commit a little bit more to this fight, and Malthael has even taken the opportunity to push a little bit into the mid lane, get some XP there. Now KTY moves in, starts the channel. Malthael though from the other side. This is a great concave coming in from the One. So he should really move into this gap, like right where KTY is. Just control that gap and try and keep everyone from the One zoned away from each other.
Look how spread out the One are. They're making it so hard for the BFG to land, for AoE damage from Li Ming to land. It's just so wonderful, almost like a ballet. They're really trying to mess with their opponents. A strong initiation coming in throw from Whitemane, trying the best she can protect there, but it was not enough. She ends up falling, and the isolation may come too late here. Lufel in trouble though. Is he gonna fall? Yes, he is.
Bunker is dropped, but the pull away by Maiev prevents Alufal getting into the bunker. Nicely done. And now KTY completely separated from the team, is able to power slide, not power slide, sorry, he's able to use his thrusters to get out of there. That jet propulsion. And with that, 2 for 1. The One take the fight and will also take the altar.
Strong trade. It is really hard to sometimes, you know, stick through or stay in a team fight when your support is the one dying first. And ZJZ, unfortunately, this time around was not able to survive, but he dropped the Aegis in time. He dropped all the tools he needed to drop before he said goodbye. And with that healing and the turnaround provided by Hugo especially and Huhu, they were able to push SCE back and take that altar. And now, slowly but surely, you know, it's not over by any means. CE isn't even close to the danger zone, but they're starting to lose grip of that game more and more. A clean 2-level lead by now in favor of the One, and they're not afraid to start that boss catcher.
No, they are not. Now they decide for this due to the fact that the sappers are already a little bit harder to take, as the nearest one is in top lane, which they can still get in time for the next objective, so they can get the double here. And the other one was on CE side of the map, which is still too risky even for them at the stage that they are at the moment.
All right. 4 more shots on the core of CE, and finally they're trying to, you know, finish the business they had started earlier with those zappers. We talked about it. If they open that top lane, it's going to be such a thorn in CE's side, because every future zapper camp, which is exactly what they're trying to do right now, by the way, is going to be a potential 3 core shots here. Now, it also means with that Malthael being occupied in the top lane that CE should, in theory, have a numbers advantage in the bottom, but already the One are trying to set up and gear up for a flank. Huho leading the charge. The stun lands. Maiev is in the back line.
Siege tactics being used, but that patience by Meng still gets the pull, but Alufal is able to boost his way away. Good blink to dodge the cocoon, tossing an Uberak as well into that stay of one. Listen, Taunt is good, but the healing is better, and Huho escapes.
Whitemane with the MVP moves here, powering through that damage of that Disintegrate, and there go the mercenary camps. We talked about it. 3 more shots on the core of CE. And speaking of core shots, bad news for CE. 3 altars available at the same time. And KTY, dodge the last rites with a bunker. We've been talking about this synergy or this counter possibility there many times, and now we saw it live in action.
Finally being dropped. Disintegrate gets some decent damage, but the finishing blow from XTQ does not land, but this is allowing Alufal to creep forward ever so slowly to zone away the members of the One. But this is only going to be 4 shots. They do control bot lane, but they did not control top lane. So the One with that counter mercenary available. There is the Taunt, but this is without Blaze. It's a 4 versus 5. They're pulling back. Ball Lightning, good value, but a great split by CE.
Alrighty then, that was a clutch fight. I'm glad the One actually backed out of this, because they realized, you know what, we don't even have to fully commit to this. Let him have this one altar. We're still sitting mighty fine at 24 core HP. Now, this mercenary camp, though, needs to be secured by the One. They definitely don't want to let this invade go. The cocoon onto Li Ming can't disintegrate that when you're in it.
Can they save her? BFG being used. Li Ming teleports away, but the containment disc is down. Blaze is again not here. Last fight, Tether and Murder. The 365 doesn't even get in the bunker. Zhuyu is the next target. The slow from the Blaze Oil is not enough. And that is a quadruple kill for the1.
Man, Tetra, can I just tell you how sexy that play was from start to finish? They put that cocoon on Li Ming. She could disintegrate that. Then after, pouncing on her when the cocoon expired, they dropped the containment disc onto Decker Kane, the best target it could have landed on. And then with that beautiful tether, a Nudbrak stun synergy, they locked in kill after kill. The1 is just absolutely on fleek this time around.
And with that, the1, they are able to achieve what might end up being... they can't get the triple cap, not this time, but they will still be able to grab enough damage. They need to keep control of 5. Blaze is clearing top, Anub is pushing bot, and they will be able to clear out their own, which is going to be at least 6, but I don't think they will be able to get the 7th and get the triple cap, because Blaze is doing too much damage top.
Yeah, as it is, though, 5 shots currently going down, 6 shots even going down for... Nope, never mind, it's 5 now again with Blaze taking back the top lane. But that's still enough.
Still lethal.
Still lethal, exactly. I mean, the good thing is here for CE, they have that bottom bell tower, right? So they can take a shortcut to maybe contest both the bottom and the middle bell tower. But they only go for... Sorry, Alter, they only go for the middle one here. That's the one they need to hold. If that one goes through, it's game over.
Yeah, with bot already gone, it's all about this belt, this altar, and boss when it comes off cooldown. So eager to try and channel it. How patient do the1 want to be? They have all their heroics. There is literally no reason for them not to fight this. Good cleanse onto a Nubrak, who's able to bounce away. Bunker already being dropped. The tether being avoided by the siege tactics. Nubrak is also low, as is Aluful as they look to turn around. Li Ming is the target, which she pops out of that cocoon. Lightning finishes her off. As they begin to turn around, Containment Disc on a hammer. They dive through 1, 2, and only 2. We see the dash away by Aluful. But while this escape is happening, you're only escaping to your own death. As the1 take game number 2 and the series.
Man, the1 picking CE members like fruit. That was beautiful to see. They had 1 containment disc here, 1 cocoon over there, and they always landed them on the right targets. And especially in that late game phase where they had those cocoon on Li Ming several times, it was just the perfect way to play around this. Otherwise, the cocoon would have gotten shredded by Disintegrate every single time. Li Ming is not the tankiest of heroes, and especially Meng, in my opinion, on that Maiev, he did so much work, not only dropping the golden containment discs, but also landing those tethers whenever it was needed. It was just a pleasure to see him watch play Heroes of the Storm. Super good.
Yeah, very well executed by the1. They take the 2-0 and as such gain a solid 3 points. Great news for them, as that puts them on 22 points.
Right.
2 behind beyond the game and 2 ahead of Super Perfect Team, meaning that right now the1 will be looking towards the next series coming up after this, which is RPG versus SPT, to maybe hope that RPG can step it up from the previous performance and steal away a couple cheeky points and give the1 a chance to move up the table, as they will play seed number 1 later today, BTG. And if they win and SPT don't take a 2-0 versus RPG, then the1 could move into first place.
Yeah, already BTG's, looking past their shoulders and they're like, uh-oh, they're coming, boys. They're coming for us. As the1 are looking good. Actually, that was probably the strongest series they've played all season long, because CE in their current shape and form looked like no slouch. They almost had that first game on lock with that infamous the 1% core hold there. But yeah, kudos to the1. Really not disappointing their fans here up to this point. But who's going to be the second match or the second opponent they face today? The1.
The1, they play against BTG.
BTG, oh man, the showdown.
Whereas CE, they get to play against the A-Team, who also put on a quite strong performance, so that's by no means an easy victory today.
CE at this point is probably going to be like, oh no, Illidan, Hugo, he did it again to us. And then they look at the A-Team, they're like, oh no, they've got Bruiser, could be another Illidan.
They're feeling too much hatred today. Too many years of hatred right now.
All right, Tetra, MVP in your opinion, and why is it Meng?
It's probably Meng. Let's be honest. It's that... yeah, the Cassia was good. The Maiev was also pretty effective. I'm willing to give either one of those, the Cassia or the Maiev.
Yep, pretty solid. Also, we got to give it to Hu again, in my opinion. Like, twice in a row, he made that Anubrak look super strong. There is a reason why Tetra and I are so fond of that hero, and there was a reason why we were shaking our heads in disbelief as to why China just finally wouldn't start it. You know, they really wouldn't start playing Nubrek until like last week, I think. That's when they started, you know, and Nubrek show.
Late first week is when they
late
really
first
started
week. All right,
it up.
I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that. So yeah, Huho could always be a strong candidate.
Indeed. So yeah, pretty much any of them could probably get this. But overall, I do enjoy that. So sorry, I did enjoy that. So I'm trying to think from that performance. Can TheOne beat BTG? I think so.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see BTG play later today as well. From that performance, the first game, I think it is definitely possible for CE to still beat the A team, which of course is very important.
Yeah, and I just noticed or realized how wrong I was at the beginning of this series, because I had called a 2-0 in favor of CE. But yeah, you know what? If TheOne convinces me, or convinced us all the way they did here, I'm glad to be wrong, because a strong TheOne means pretty good chances for for China as a region, maybe at BlizzCon, maybe making it out of the group's phase. Who knows? Hugo getting this much-deserved MVP vote there as well on that. Malthael, I think it's safe to say that he always found the targets he wanted to find. Really good focus damage as well, and good survivability. Like, his positioning in this series on both Illidan and Malthael had been absolutely impeccable. Very rarely did he fall victim to the damage of CE.
He did a fine job. Absolutely convincing by Hugo. Very cool to see that once again. So well done for these for TheOne here. So it's really hard to say that sentence, but well done for TheOne. They take the 3 points and move themselves currently into second place. But that might not be the case for very long, because currently our next series is going to be the return of RPG. See if they can try and catch up on a now wounded CE, or will SPT be able to reclaim their second place and close the gap on BTG? Find out after this break.